Alright, this is going to be episode 2 of the OBS LS swap. Got the transmission up on the engine stand. Super sketchy, got 3 bolts in there. That's all of them that I could find that were long enough to go through and put a nut on the back, since there is no threaded holes like on the engine. So we're taking this pan off. One, because there's no drain hole on this 4L80. So we ordered one with a drain, and also it looks like the gasket needs to be replaced, and we have a transmission filter as well. So we're going to do all that, and then it should be time to throw the torque converter in, and then made it up to the motor, bolted together, and then from there, Liz should be done cleaning. We're gonna paint the frame rails with some rust encapsulator, and she wants to paint the fender on the left side at least, because there's a little bit of rust from where the battery sat. So last time we did clean it up, and it cleaned up really well. Got a lot of the grease off. So we'd like to put some encapsulator off. We got to take the motor mount plates off, put the new ones on, get that painted up. She cleaned the firewall, looks really good. So just kind of tidying it up, but unfortunately it is sprinkling and raining. Yeah, that looks way better just cleaning that. So we might not have to paint this side. It's really hard to get to. There's a lot of stuff over it. So we'll pick up in a little bit once we make some progress. I was working on this, got the brand new pan with a drain bolt on there, cleaned up some of the filth that was on there so we can tell if it starts leaking and from where. Cleaned up the tail housing a little bit, got the dipstick tube bent back. I'm assuming our friend who sold us the transmission went to pull it and did not unbolt it, and it got caught, because right there kind of got bent a little bit, and then this bracket was like way bent. So got that bent back, took the wiring harness off the old motor, so we're going to try to ditch that this weekend. And also, if you've never had the pleasure of taking the motor mount pedestals off of an OBS Chevy, be thankful. It was such an incredible pain to get to. So there's no access. There's this, like, right in between the control arm, that little tiny gap. That's how you go through. So you have to take a long wrench, or, well, what I did was taped a wrench to a wrench, and then we actually used the spark plug socket, which is close enough. That grabbed onto the nut as well. So between the two, we managed to get it, get both sides taken off. So that was a pain. I don't want to do that again. That was no fun. But Liz is still taping everything up, getting it pretty ready. It's pretty ready to go. And then from there, we gotta put some rust encapsulator on the frame, and yeah, just kind of plugging along. That's ABS. We need to keep that. Pretty sure I'm gonna get the ABS working, because it really just needs vehicle speed sensor, and then it has the ABS sensor. So I think we can retain that. Pretty much gonna keep as much of the stock functionality as we can. Our goal is to put Liz's mom in the truck and her drive it like a normal everyday truck, without having to give instructions on what to do or have any special procedures or anything like that. So I think we're going to succeed in that. That's the goal. All right, Liz just laid down the first coat of semi-gloss. Was this some? Yeah, we got semi-gloss. It looks really good. So we are going to let that dry. We need to stir the rust encapsulator and start going to town on the frame. So, aside from Liz still being down there, finding more spots that she couldn't see from the top, she's getting the rest of the frame that goes right under the cab. But look how good this looks. It's so good. So good. The fenders look amazing. The frame looks fantastic. This stuff is so good. It was relatively inexpensive comparative for some rust inhibitor and encapsulator. We got it off of Amazon. What's the do they have a brand on there?
Rust Seal.
Rust Seal?
Paint over rust, but we've not even used half.
Yeah. So we've gone over some of the spots like with 2 coats. All we really did was hit it with the wire wheel, and I don't even think that that's like necessary. You know, you could probably do it without wire wheeling it as well because it does encapsulate it, but we figured take it down. There was just a little bit of scaling. It wasn't even bad. There's 0 holes in the frame. This is a rust-free truck.
North Carolina car.
Yeah. It had enough clay on the underside that and oil leaks that it has been preserved, but
the best rust encapsulator.
Yeah, dirt. Yeah, man, these fenders are fantastic. The frame looks great. Everything is good. So good. So we are ready to take the transmission off of the stand, put the torque converter on, measure the spacing, slam it into the motor, and then probably tomorrow we'll work on putting the motor into the truck. Well, first time seeing it out in the day, the fender wells look so good. Frame rails look amazing as well. We did paint it on with a brush. You can see some brush strokes here and there, but like most of it's going to be covered by the motor. Not really that concerned about it. It looks great. We got back as far as we could, so just kind of coats the frame from any of that scaling buildup. Today we need to organize our work area. We need to take the transmission down, bolt it up. I've been saying that for the last couple of videos, but today is the day. We got the engine bay done, so we need to go ahead and get the motor ready to drop in. We're gonna try to drop it in today, hopefully. It looks like it might rain, it might not. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll pick up as we go. After talking about it for a while, we finally got the transmission off the stand, and I've come to realize that everything on this transmission is extremely heavy. Transmission's heavy, this torque converter is super heavy. So now we need to slide it on the input shaft, twist it until it engages the fluid pump. Then I have to take a straight edge, measure how set back it is. Then we'll bolt it up. We'll measure the clearance, and then you use the bolts to pull it in because it needs to move like 1/8 of an inch out of the pump so that when it hits high RPM and it balloons a little bit, it'll have some room to go into the pump. Because if not, then it's just going to wedge itself in the pump and burn the pump out. So, all right, quit talking about it and do it, right? Yeah, that sucks. Almost as fun as taking a T56 out on the ground numerous times. That was a lot of fun. I can hear the fluid. Dang, did I line it up first try? Nope. See, that right there gets people in trouble. That extra click in, because you think you have it engaged and then it's not fully seated. So then when you bolt it up, it pulls it out even farther and doesn't engage the fluid pump. So let's give it a few turns, give it a little slap All right, and then the next part, you got to take a straight edge, put it on here, and measure to the mounting pad, and it has to be at least an inch recessed. Which, just eyeing it, this one looks like it. Now this is also going extreme because this is the torque converter that came out of this transmission and the flex plate. So everything should go back together perfectly fine. It had 100 and whatever thousand miles mated together, but this is the first time that I've really messed with a automatic transmission and torque converter on purpose. Normally we're like swapping manual transmissions into street cars and stuff, but for this particular vehicle, we want to make it fast and maybe do some drag racing or just mile-long burnouts. So automatic's the way to go, and it's fun messing with it. You know, it's out of our comfort zone. So I'm gonna get the straight edge, measure it, make sure it has a proper clearance, and then it's time to bolt it up. As you can see, we got the transmission on. Didn't film it because we had to get in some precarious places. Didn't really want to put that on YouTube. It wasn't our finest moment, but we got it. And I took the starter out to have access to the torque converter bolts. Trying to decide if I want to Loctite it or not. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up and see if general consensus is to Loctite it or not, but I'm gonna get these 6 bolts put in, get them torqued down, and then this is pretty much ready to go in the truck then. All right, update so everyone can stop screaming at their phones or TVs or whatever you're watching this on. I am gonna put some blue Loctite on it, and I figured it's probably wise since the torque spec is only 32 pounds factory, so just kind of want them to stay in there. So I'm gonna torque them to 32 with some blue Loctite, because this converter is coming out when we go turbo, so I don't want it to be impossible to take out. I got everything buttoned up on here, got the transmission harness on, moved the wiring harness out of the way, got it chained up, got it moved. We loaded up the 4.3, that's getting scrapped tomorrow. Got to put this lower half of the bell housing on once it's in. So as bad as taking these motor mounts out was, this was not quite as bad, but it wasn't great. It was not a whole lot of fun. I don't like that style. Whoever at GM thought that that was a great idea to run the motor mount standoffs through the frame, I just want to have a conversation with them, you know, just talk. But it's done, so we don't have to do that anymore, because if those bushings ever fail, I'm just finding bushings that fit the same. We're not taking these off. So barring any like fitment issues or something like that, that's the only thing that I can foresee, but I hope not. But we're gonna eat and get cleaned up, and then we will try to drop the motor in a little bit later. Just took the drive shaft out. So to me this looks like an aftermarket one. It does not look like any of the stock ones I've seen pictures of. I have no idea, wasn't told when we bought it, so I'm just going on a guess that it's aftermarket. It is balanced externally. Let's see, there's a part number down there, I can look that up. But I needed to hammer out this U-joint here. We actually have a tail shaft that's in the 4L80E, so that's going to get put in there. I have a U-joint that converts this over to basically the 4L80 size, and then with the motor mounts that slide like the Dirty Dingo style, we should be able to use this drive shaft again, so that's what we're shooting for. All right, so after a while of fighting with it, we got the motor in, but the motor plates don't line up with the holes, so I'm assuming that I have them upside down. Wasn't any instructions, so I was just going for it. But yeah, hopefully that's it and we can bolt it in, because if not, I'll be very disappointed that those engine mounts don't work, but there it is. Otherwise, it's ready to go pretty much. Last night we left off pretty frustrated. It was a lot to wrestle this in. I expected it to be a little bit easier, but so looking up, so these particular mounts came with 0 instructions, and I guess I just took a shot at which way they faced, and I was wrong. So pretty sure we need to flip them, and then the motor mounts should line up. So it looks like these are kind of like a copy of Dirty Dingo. So I just looked at their instructions. They do label driver and passenger. These, however, are not. So China is really good at copying things, but they have no idea what they're copying, so they can't provide instructions, and they don't know what they're making typically. So it's my fault. I'm gonna lift the motor up, flip the mounts, and then put the bolts in, and then from there we can start. Probably need to put the transmission crossmember in to stop holding it up with jack, and then from there we'll probably start plugging away at I'm not sure. Maybe put the exhaust on, make sure that fits. Everything looks like it'll clear. Yeah, it'll be tight back there, but I think everything's good. Yeah, it's facing down, so yeah, I think we're good. All right, it's been a lot longer than I want to admit wrestling with these motor mounts, but I am alone right now, so it was hard to adjust and then get them back. It did catch the edge a little bit, a little tiny bit of rubber came out, but be okay. They work a lot better when you put them the correct way, but I'm sure you guys knew that. So hopefully everyone can get a good laugh at my misfortune of guessing wrong. I guess I should have just looked at the Dirty Dingo stuff. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I knew they were directional, but I didn't look it up, just went for it. So those are on. Now we need to get the transmission cross member, and I think that's all we're going to be able to get to this week. Put in a little bit of work, and we got this cross member up. The trans mount is in, so everything lines up there. I started working on the shifter selector. I'm not 100% sure what I need to do with this, because I don't know, maybe I just need to tighten it down really well. I had Liz move the gears, and it just kind of rotated in the little collar, because this is the shift cable from the truck, so like 4L60E, and then oh man, oh, okay, I thought the oil filter was wet. And then obviously that's the shift selector from the 4L80E, so I'll have to see what combination I need to do on that. We do have a whole fuel system coming. That'll be here next week, so that'll be next week's project. We're gonna go with a Hellcat pump, 525 liter per hour pump, and we're gonna run 6 AN line. Probably for the return, maybe 8 in for the feed, and that'll cover that. We're also going to switch to a 96 fuel pump hanger, so that I can wire the fuel gauge straight into the dash without having any adapters or anything like that. And also it'll allow me to use the AN fittings that we got straight to the output. All right, and this we're gonna put up here so they don't get wet. Yeah, so we're making some progress. It's going pretty quick. It's time to fiddle with the shafts. We got this U-joint press that man, we've had this for probably like 8 years, 9 years, and have only used it once, twice, maybe a few times. I don't remember, but it's gonna come in handy because it is useful for the U-joints to press them out. You got to press the little caps out, and then you press the new caps back in. Let's see, almost. If you need to know how to do it, there's a nice Chris Fix video on it. He shoots really good stuff, really informative. All right. Okay, so we are not blocking the cap. There we go. I tried hitting it with a hammer last night, but I couldn't get it. I'm gonna try a bigger purse, but couldn't find it. It was late. Alright, felt that. Alright, so the cap's not quite out. Alright, we'll have to hit a little bit more. I might be able to grab it with pliers, but anyways, I'm gonna keep doing this. Gotta swap this all the way out, and then the rears, the needle bearings kind of fell out, so we're gonna go get a replacement of that and change it while we're in here, because why not? All right, got some bad news. Because I'm pretty sure this is an aftermarket drive shaft, that has a spicer joint that is different than the OEM drive shaft. So everyone said you can use this right here, 447, and that would work perfectly fine if you had a stock drive shaft, but we do not. So the caps for the drive shaft side would not fit in. So I measured them out, and I need a 1330 to 1350 drive shaft conversion U-joint, and nowhere has it locally. So we're gonna order it. It'll show up in the next pile. So this chapter will not get closed until next week. Other than that, I think we're done working on the truck for this week. And I think we're gonna probably end the video there. So thank you guys for watching, and catch us on the next one for more truck content.